Welcome to this week's episode of A Tale of Two Scribes. I'm the host, Eric Bishop. This is a place where interesting people come to share their stories. I hope you'll support tonight's guest. As for myself, I'm a father, author, travel enthusiast, and lover of the outdoors. If you'd like to see some of my creative works, my novels, please go to my website, ericpbishop.com. Thanks for joining us tonight, and enjoy the journey. Welcome to another episode of A Tale of Two Scribes, and this is a special one because we are repeating what we did last year for a 2025 year-end roundup with some of my favorite authors. And here they are. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
This is the
Thank
one
you
chance you get to
again.
all say
Yeah.
something at the same time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Always a pleasure.
Clearly, you didn't learn your lesson last year and you came back for more.
Eric needs some new friends.
Yeah.
Probably. That probably would not be I do a lot of trips by myself, actually. So yeah, I'm recruiting right now. Who's up for it? There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go too far with this, now I know some people might watch this up or not watch this episode, might listen to this episode, but most of our views are on YouTube. So I'm assuming people are going to watch it. So I think the first thing we have to do is introduce ourselves and reveal what type of Christmas attire you are wearing, because the people that are watching this on YouTube need to see, yeah, Charles, I'm making fun of you. They need to see what Christmassy thing you're wearing. So, of course, we're going to start with ladies first. Mrs. Ama Adair.
Oh, I
Tell us
figured you
about
were going to
yourself
Dave,
first.
but hey, that's okay. So I am Ama Adair. I write as A.M. Adair, and I am a thriller author and screenwriter. And I am wearing my Nakatomi Christmas Party 1988 t-shirt.
Yay.
Yeah, welcome to the party, pal.
Good.
So I am representing a true Christmas movie for us all in Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Amen. Dave, why don't we go with you? We'll go to Dave next because I know Dave's got a little bit of a festive thing he's wearing. So
All right. Well, I'm Dave Darling. I'm a Canadian, Toronto area writer. I wish I could narrow down a genre, so that seems to be a problem, but I'm working on it. And I'm currently wearing a Santa hat with a blue-collared shirt, but a candy cane tie. There we go.
there we go.
I really thought he was going to tell us like a designer next. That's really the vibe I was getting.
My Ralph Lauren is in the wash.
Well,
So
I mean, look at the background he has right there. You can't tell me this man is not clearly, instead of spending the money on the tie, he went for the house, but I think he should have gone for the tie. So
I've had this tie almost 50 years, so it's been around.
and
40 maybe. Okay.
just to make things more complicated, because I love complication, is we have a second Dave. I mean, we got to have two Daves, and who do you call David and Dave and all that? So let's keep it complicated and go to the next one. So
Thanks. I'm Dave Buzan. I'm an Oregon author. I write historical thrillers and adventures, and I'm wearing my Mystery Science Theater 3000 ugly sweater.
yes,
So Santa Claus versus the Martians has to represent.
No.
That's the worst Christmas movie ever, and the fun.
So good.
most excellent. And now we'll go to the guy who's probably the most festive in the group,
Yeah.
Mr. Charles Hack. So Charles, take it away.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Charles Hack. I am a military sci-fi space opera author and mystery author. And I am wearing my University of Nevada blue and silver football jersey, which has nothing to do with Christmas. In fact, it was a terrible season, and they were giving them away for free because it was so bad. No,
Oh.
just kidding. No, I actually paid money for it, but that's as festive as it can get right now. I'm
Mhm.
I was almost going to give you credit and say, see, he's wearing a gift. That is the Christmas spirit, but
Yeah,
no.
no, not at all. But Blue and silver. Hey, we gotta root for our team.
There you
You
go.
got to root for your team. People hear me I would say every week, but I guess I do these twice a month now. I backed off a little bit, so everyone knows who I am. But what I'm wearing now, before I reveal the attire, there's a little story behind it. So and I don't remember when because I'm getting too old. I was shopping with, I think my daughter. I know my daughter. It might have been my niece as well. This thing keeps getting all blurry on me. Let's see if we can get to refocus. And I think we're in TJ Maxx, and I see this just horribly hideous sweater, and I was just like, "Oh, that's so bad. I have to buy it." My daughter's like, "No, you are not." So I always go against what everyone says. That's the course of my life normally. So I made sure I bought this thing. I've worn it about 2 or 3 times. Once with her, which I don't think she talked to me for a while after that. But oh yeah, we got a sumo. We have a
Oh,
sumo wrestler. Oh yes,
oh,
this is why I
wow.
don't wear it in
Wait,
public
wait, wait.
very often.
Are there
Wow.
sequins on your Santa hat?
Sequins?
It looks like you're sparkling.
Heck yeah, it's their
Yeah.
sequins. What are you supposed to
Oh
wear?
my
The other
gosh.
one I have has a jingle ball, has a little dangly ball on it, but I didn't wear that one's in the other room. So yes,
Oh, well.
go big or go home. That's the secret to enjoying Christmas and I think life in general. So
I've never seen anything like that, Eric. That was
Yeah,
Don't
that,
worry, therapy will help you through this.
Charles, I'm
yes.
sending it to you after we film because I want you to have something Christmassy for our
Oh,
2026 show. So you're getting the sumo fat guy.
there you go.
that was actually a scary reveal. I wasn't sure what I was going to watch there for a minute.
Had to change the rating on YouTube.
I keep
Yeah.
it PG-13 or TV-14, whatever the ratings are for
Yeah.
YouTube. But
Oh.
I was actually trying to explain it to my daughter the other day. We were watching something, and she's like, "So what's like TV-14 compared to PG? Like, how does it work? TV versus movies?" And I'm like, I don't have a clue. What do you want to watch? Let me see if you can watch it or not. So
The line is a sumo wrestler Christmas sweater. That elevates to TV 14.
he's got a loincloth on, people. He's not giving away all the secrets.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
And yes, I have pants on. I have full pants, so don't worry. I didn't go
Hey,
boxer
I did this year
style.
too. I'm wearing jeans this year, not pajama bottoms.
I
This
know.
is
Wow.
great.
I'm impressed. Look at you.
Yeah,
See?
went all out.
Oh,
Well, another year has passed. I would hope we've gotten a little bit wiser, but I don't know if I can say that for myself, but I've tried to improve on a few things. But let's go around and let's see what everyone has been up to this year, and if you had a new release this year, because we'll talk about what you're doing going forward at the end of the show. But if you had a new release this year, or even a project you worked on that you can tell us a little bit about something, um, let's do that, and we'll start in the same order. Ladies first again.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get used to answering to lady. That's a little odd.
Yeah.
Um, but this year, I was in school, so I had a lot of different things going on, tons of different projects. But the release I had was a short story that was in an anthology, and
Mhm.
it's the first time I have had something come out in an anthology, so it was a really cool experience. But Fighting Words came out. My short story, Pure Wrath, is in that, and if anybody likes to, get a story where there's lots of people getting punched in the face, like by all means, pick this one up because there's a ton of good stuff in there.
Very good. Dave, what do you got for us? We know there's something
Well,
you're going to talk about at the end, but what have you done this
okay.
year before you get to that
Well,
point?
I now that my memory was jogged, what have I done this year? Well, I haven't been lax. I have wrote uh I think pretty much two novels, but they're
Mhm.
all I'll talk about them later. I did also enter a short uh, story contest as well through Black Spring Press out in Scotland. And I was picked with, I think there was a dozen of us that were picked for an anthology as well. And Val McDermott picked mine. So I got published again, but this time out in Scotland. So I'd
Nice.
forgotten all about that right up until you reminded me of yours. So,
Don't
um,
don't worry, I'm here for you, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. As to yeah, I got a few books on the go. And I've just started or dusted off a new project, and I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing that this spring. So, plus there's some news coming down the pipe.
Yeah, well, yeah, we might have a little something to reveal, you know.
A little something.
Absolutely. Dave 2, what's up, Dave 2?
Thank you. It's awesome.
Dave,
Well,
too.
I finished my second book. It's called In the Wrath of Legends. And it's the sequel to my debut in the Lair of Legends. And it'll be out on December 18th, 2025. So next week by Black Rose Writing. And then I started working on my third book. So that'll be out next year. But most of it creative wise, it was all the second book I worked on this past year.
So before we let you go, because you are one of those authors that you seem to have a lot of traction with the first book, and so maybe talk a little bit about what it was like as as you're in the slog of, oh man, I've got to write a second one, and you're working on that. You're still getting, a lot of critical praise. You're getting, so much love online, I know. How was that for you as the year started and has kind of progressed during that journey that you took?
Well, it's very daunting. So it was a much different process than writing the first book.
Hmm.
Creatively, it's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Hmm.
So the old cliche about taking life off your years, I felt like this one did that to me. It was my Ivan Drago project. I just didn't think I could ever conquer it.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. There was a lot of expectations I had on myself that weren't correct and they weren't valid. And I had to learn to trust the process. I had to learn to trust the character. And I kept fighting against taking it in another direction that I really wanted to. And it turned out to be the right thing to do. So I just had to listen to my character's voice and not my own. It's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I know it's a cliche and they say it all the time, but you have your whole life to write your first book. And then if it becomes something that is success that they want a second book, all of a sudden your window to do it is so, and the pressure that's on it, especially if your first book is well received, if you're up for awards, if people are talking about it, that internal pressure that you feel as a writer to like, well, I can't drop the ball. I mean, there's always, even in like music and with stuff like sequels for movies, that second one a lot of times can really set the tone for, the first one kind of gets your foot in the door, but the second one kind of is the push to get you really to 3 and 4 and whatever it might be. And that internal pressure is, forget the external pressure, the internal pressure for yourself, because we all, I think, probably struggle with, feeling like we're fake anyways. Oh, I'm not a real writer. Oh, you read, I don't read Daniel Silva anymore because when I read Daniel Silva, I just after I had read him for years, and then I wrote my first novel in 2014, and then that year Daniel Silva came out with a new book, and I started reading it, and I was like, I can't read it. I'll have to read it when I'm like really good author because I'll read a chapter of his and be like, well, I got to throw away what I wrote last night. This isn't gonna work. So
I, I thought that too with Don Winslow. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
100%,
oh,
100%. Charles, I know you've been sitting there, just watching football games and,
Yeah.
doing whatever people do in Nevada, gambling or whatever. So what have you been up to this year? So,
Well, I actually had a huge year, a big year of production and
mhm.
releases. So I got to mention several things. So early in the year, Piercing the Darkness came out, full size book 3 in my space warfare group. Um, During the summer up until November, or just here a week or so ago, I released 4 audiobooks, all in the Space Warfare group. So we produced and released all of them. So they're up. That was a big deal. And then I was included in a short story anthology, much like Mike, you guys. It was a sci-fi and fantasy anthology, and it was a Kickstarter campaign for these beautiful books. They're special edition collector items, and we raised $70,000, if you can believe that, on the
very nice.
Kickstarter. Yeah, 850 backers, 22 sci-fi and fantasy authors. I'm super blessed and thankful to be included in that. But my favorite release, I mean, all that stuff's been amazing this year, but just a couple weeks ago, Deliver Us from Evil, Hank Lynn book 2 came out, and it's doing okay. It's doing all right. So that was a big year for me. Felt like every month or so we were trying to promote something.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing that never ends. I know we all know that is you get to this milestone, you put a book out, and you want to be like, you want to be sitting with David Darling on that couch, smoking a cigar, drinking cognac with your feet back. No, no, there's no such thing as that. It's like,
No.
okay, now you're in promotion mode for the next 3 months, and by the time you start easing slightly out of promotion mode, oh yeah, that next book is due in 2 months. You're like, oh yeah, I gotta go back to like writing real hard. So
Yeah.
never, never ends. But that's okay. We're doing what we enjoy, um, and we're chasing, we're chasing those goals and those dreams. And I try to tell people that haven't got there yet. They haven't writ that they haven't finished that first draft, or they haven't got the agent, they didn't self-publish, they didn't get the publishing contract with Big Five. It's like it's okay. It's okay. You can still do it, and you don't know. I said to my kids recently, I was talking about something. I said, the day you give up, how do you know the next day wasn't when that big break was going to happen?
Exactly.
And I think as a writer, you really have to keep that mindset because even when I started writing, 10 plus 11 years ago now, I went to my first conference in 2017, I believe. And I met a bunch of authors and a bunch of aspiring authors. The amount of people that weren't there by the next year and weren't even trying anymore was pretty overwhelming. And there was a lot of people obviously that kept sticking with it. But a lot of people get to that point where they just, it is hard. So you have to have that drive, and that drive sometimes has to kick in even when everything else in the industry is slamming the door in your face. If you want this, you're going to have to keep pushing. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look back at my questions.
Well, I think we forgot one of the five here. What have you been doing
Oh
this last
me?
year,
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah.
Like like maybe you could help us out a bit by motivating us with some of your works.
Oh
What's
no,
going on?
Eric hasn't done anything. Haven't you been paying attention? There's
No,
nothing going on. There's nothing on the shelves behind you. These
I
are not the
post on
books you're looking
Twitter,
no.
for.
Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and that's about my full-time job, I think. So no.
Yeah.
Um, so actually this year was less productive in the sense of coming out. I actually was thinking about that the other day. 2024, I re-released The Body Man. I think it was in January.
Mhm.
Breach of Trust came out in June, and then Babylon Will Rise came out in December. So that year I had three books out. And one of them was just a republish, so that one was a pretty easy one. But the other two were not easy. That was a lot of efforts to get those two out. And this year I thought I was going to do two again, and I'm close. We'll talk about it at the end of the program. I've got one coming out in January, so I'm going to be a month off on that. Um, yeah, did some short stories. So I had several comics come out, which comics are over here. Where are they? And I think I just dropped one. So
Cult of Machete.
yeah, cultivation. Yeah, not my normal thing. So get the ring light camera. Not doing it. These kind of like these are what I give my kids if I want them to have bad dreams. Basically, let them look at the covers. That was a fun experience. It was not something I saw happening. I have one more comic coming out sometime early next year, so that'll be three that I'm involved with. Supreme Justice came out in July. That was fun. That story was something I wanted to tell for a long time, and I started it 2020, December of 2020 is when I wrote the first. Had a completely different title. I wrote about 20 something thousand words, and then I got the deal for The Body Man. So I put that manuscript away for literally 3.5 years. Didn't look
Wow.
at it, didn't really even think about it because there was so much other stuff. So last year, when I dived back into it in 2024 and started writing over the winter time, it was exciting to pull that out and just change a lot of stuff in those first 30,000 words, but then kind of tell that story that had been in my head for so long. So that was super exciting. And then this fall, I've been diving into getting the January book ready for prime time and also writing next summer's books. We'll talk about both those at the end of this. So yeah, I'm trying to be an underachiever this year as usual.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing about it though is, and I get people make comments about it. They're like, "Man, you're doing so much. You're doing this," but I'm doing everything I want to do. What it means is I'm cutting out stuff. So watching television and stuff, I definitely watch television. I can't say I don't watch any TV. Sure, I do. but it's little snippets here and there. I don't sit down and watch a full-length movie, but maybe once every couple weeks, once a month, I'll watch some streaming stuff because it's 30 minutes or maybe a 50-minute one sometimes with dinner. But, I cut out the entertainment and I get to actually do what I wanted to do now for 11 years and tell stories. So it's not really the work is trying to market. That's the work. And Charles is my marketing buddy, and we go back and forth sometimes a lot on text during
Oh,
the day. And it's horrendous. Like, Charles, how do you tell you today's worse than yesterday? I mean, it's like,
ah,
it's horrible. It's like, what
yeah.
is so trying to figure out how to market these things is like the bane of my existence. It's like I could write them all the time, but I need minions. I need a pile of minions behind me
Yeah.
that are just out there screaming at everyone, saying, "Buy this, buy this, buy this." We'll even let them wear, sumo guy or whatever. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
but
you can hear the tone, the text messages coming through,
ding ding.
Eric feeling stressed and, what is happening? But it's so much fun. I love being able to talk with authors, doing the same stuff and struggling
Mhm.
through and, strategizing. It's the best.
Yeah,
Because nobody really knows what it's like except for other authors.
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. Well, friends, family, some people don't get support from friends and family. I do, and I know other ones of us here on this call get that support. But it's still lonely because even if they're supportive of you and they even are like, "Yeah, we believe in you," they don't understand the
mm,
efforts it takes to get there. They don't understand the mental gymnastics you have to jump
Yeah.
through of like,
yeah.
okay, how do I make a 30th ad for a story that's I don't have a 30th idea. Like what do I come up
Yeah.
with?
Yeah.
And even people that are traditionally published, and I've talked to a lot of people about that over the years. You think, oh, well, they've got a team of monkeys in a back room that does all that for you. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe if
I
you're
don't know. If you see some of the ads that they put out, I wouldn't be surprised if monkeys weren't putting them together, just like randomly throwing things at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
That's very true.
they're
Yeah.
drunk monkeys. So that's when they call it the drunk monkeys. So,
Oh my
they went
gosh.
out, they were hanging out with David Darling one night really late and they go, "We got
Yeah.
a marketing idea for this book."
We just call them Irish monkeys where I'm from. So
Irish monkeys. Hey now, hey now. I've been drinking in Dublin before. There's a funny anecdote to that, I believe. The claim that I've heard over the years is that God created beer to keep the Irish from ruling the world.
yes,
Think
yeah.
it's probably true. So I think it's definitely a true thing. So well, hey, let's shift focus and let's talk about some of our recommended. It doesn't have to be your favorite, but some recommended books since we're authors. Before we head into some media stuff in a little bit, what are some books that have kind of gotten you that you really enjoyed this year? Um,
Are
you
we
want to
keeping the
mix
same
up who
order?
talks? Uh, yeah, who wants to talk?
Or free for all? All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Actually, I texted you about this one because you got me going about it. But I think because we're authors, everybody expects us to know every single author out there, especially if they're even tangential to our genre.
Mhm.
But this year at BoucherCon, I had the pleasure of hearing Jonathan Mayberry talk, and I was not familiar with his work at all. And I'm humiliated to say that now because after hearing him and getting recommendations from my cousin, I was like, okay, I'll pick up the first book. Oh dear God, how did I never know about Jonathan Mayberry? How did I not
Mhm.
know about Joe Ledger? Because as everybody who's heard me talk before, I am a massive fan of The Gray Man. Court Gentry is my protagonist. I like Joe Ledger so much from one book that he
Mhm.
is right there with Court Gentry in my eyes right now. So that, I
Really?
mean, that just tells you how much I love this protagonist. And
Mhm.
so Patient Zero, the first book in the Joe Ledger series by Jonathan Mayberry, if you have not picked it up, do yourself a favor. And if you like the audiobooks, because the Ray Porter does the audiobook narration, and of course he is phenomenal in everything, but I guess him and Jonathan Mayberry have a very special relationship, so you get a little extra performance out of Ray on these books, and he
Very
is
cool.
fantastic. So good, so good. Highly recommend it.
Did you get to the sequels yet?
I have it downloaded. I haven't listened to it yet. I I actually had that debate. Do I read it or do I listen to Ray again? And I defaulted to listening to Ray again.
Dragon Factory is my favorite of his books. It is so good.
I am so into this. Like I'm telling you guys, Joe Ledger is I love him.
Nice. Well, I took a note, so I'm gonna trust you on this one. I'm gonna check it out.
It is the action's great, the comedy's great, and there's zombies.
Win-win.
Mr. Darling, I know you, but behind that $30.5 million chalet behind you is actually some books hidden that we can't see. So I know you're a voracious reader. So what have you got for us?
Well, one of the things I was surprised at was, in retrospect, I wasn't surprised. It's when Kyle Mills left the Mitch Rapp universe, and I was so curious as to how Kyle was gonna pick up and shake off Mitch Rapp universe and go back out on his own and come out with his own voice
Yeah.
and or rediscover his own voice instead of writing as Vince Flynn. And he did. And one of my favorite books Kyle sent me, it's hard to, oh my gosh, it's not even
Put
coming
it in
up.
front of your face, David.
Is that how it
There
works?
you go.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I was trying to fade in.
It's
Anyway,
it's tool time.
it's tool time. So anyway, yeah. So fade in. Kyle just hit it out of the park with that. And it, there's two faults I found with it. One, it's the same thing as you when you're reading Daniel Silva. I read after reading how Kyle brief descriptions, a full paragraph, and you're immersed in the story. You know where you are. You know exactly what's going on, and in minimal words, minimalistic. He gets the story across, and I'm so envious of people that can do that. It's such a great trait to have. But on that same vein, I wish that novel was 95,000 words, 100,000 words. It could have been more easily. So, but it was lean, and as a reader, you tend to skip over certain things. The fluff, I call it. There's none of that in there.
Yeah.
So you just read everything, and I enjoyed it so much. So if you're ever listening, Kyle, thank you very much. Enjoyed the
Yeah.
book.
Well, and one thing about Kyle is if people only know him through the Vince Flynn books, they might not realize that he had a full-on career writing his own stuff, and actually one of the Legacy series earlier than that, and I'm just drew a blank on what he was doing. Ludlum. He was doing a Ludlum book. Was it Ludlum?
Yeah.
Maybe. Think so. No, not Ludlum.
Like I said, there's hundreds of books all behind me. I got a whole bunch of Kyle Mills's original novels.
What was he didn't do Ludlum. He didn't do the Bourne series. What he did a series though before Vince Flynn that was a Legacy series, and I'm drawing a complete. I even talked to him about it, but I'm having a mental moment here, a senior moment. Do you remember, David?
I do not.
You don't? Okay. It'll come to me when one of you are talking, and I'll just be rude and interrupt, and be like, "Ah, here it is! I realized what it was." But
Yeah, that was one of my favorite books of the year, and I'm a fan, sure, and I find it inspiring. So yeah, if you haven't picked up a Kyle Mills novel, please do so. You won't be disappointed.
yeah, I hope. I don't think it's the last we'll hear of Kyle, obviously, but I hope with him leaving the fold of the big, of Atria, I hope we keep seeing novels come out from every year because yeah, he's just a terrific wordsmith. So, and we need Kyle Mills books. We don't need just legacy books out there. We need books from authors that are creative. And also with that, with Fade In, he wrote the Fade character like 20 plus years ago, so it was like, and he killed him pretty much, it's done, it's over, I'm not writing a sequel. And he figured out a way to like, oh, I can bring this back. And just the cleverness in which he did it is really, really cool. So,
it was brilliant. So,
yeah. Dave, too, we're going to hold on. We're going to go Charles first. We're going to mix this up because,
Okay.
why not? So.
Yeah, so this was a challenging. Actually, several of these questions that you gave us to consider was hard. I've read a lot of books this year, well over 100 books this year, and to list, and a lot of those are audio, and a lot of them are for my day job as a pastor to do
Hmm.
theology studies and stuff. But um, what stood out to me, the one book that came to mind immediately was by Jack DeBrule. If you guys know Jack DeBrule in the Clive Cussler universe, his character Isaac Bell. Isaac Bell was the is the early 19th century or 1900s detective, kind of a Pinkerton style detective. But Jack DeBrule took him and turned him into a bit of a thriller action star detective, which I love. And he had a great book about the Panama Canal. I think he had the Titanic book, which was great. Panama Canal, but it was his third Isaac Bell called Sea Wolves. And 1914, just before World War One, you have German U-boats. You've got some conspiracies going on and some interesting technology they were trying to figure out. And then it also involves the Lusitania ship, which was shot down, sunk by German
U-boats.
U-boats.
Yeah.
Fantastic historical adventure action book. I just was. Uh,
He's
oh,
stealing
hey,
your thunder.
no.
Look what he.
Well,
It's not a
No,
chalet. He's a liar.
I just finally figured it out. So,
he's on a
sorry.
chalet. He's in a closet.
Goodness, your wife makes you stay in that closet and you can't even come out on the couch with the fireplace. Ah,
Sorry,
goodness.
the fireplace wasn't real, folks. For
Sorry,
Yeah.
Charles. Please continue. That was
Yeah.
David's fault, not
Uh,
mine.
yeah. So I recommend it. The Isaac Bell. There's been like 14 books or something, and the early ones, Cussler wrote the first. The earlier ones, they're good. But what Jack DeBrule has done with it, turning into an exciting story. And I went on a DeBrule binge this summer in audiobooks, and I listened to a bunch of the Organ Files and Isaac Bell's and
Hmm.
everything, and even got a chance to participate in an interview with him.
Nice.
If you've never read Jack DeBrule, he is a heck of a adventure
Hmm.
writer.
Hmm.
Very cool. Mr. Dave, too. What do you got for us? I know you're a reader, so.
My favorite book of the year is called A Thousand Natural Shocks, and it's a debut novel by an author called Omar Hussein. It's a great psychological thriller. It's about a reporter that gets mixed up with a criminal cult as he's being pursued by a serial killer. And it's through that story, he finds out that his memories and his life may not be his own.
Hmm.
And it's very lyrical and philosophical. I actually read it twice. There's just a lot in there.
Wow.
So I really recommend that one.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very
Give it
cool.
to us again. What was it
You
again?
you had me at serial killer.
It's yes, it's called A Thousand Natural Shocks.
Cool. Nando might even put that cover up there. I think he did it last year with all the books. You probably, everyone here, probably collectively read a lot more than I did. So I definitely read a lot this year, but I didn't, it was just all over the board. I did not read a lot of fiction in our genre, like thrillers. More of what I read with that was people reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, will you read this for a blurb?" Or "Hey, will you do this favor for me?" Or "Hey, will you help me see if I've got problems with this?" And so many people helped me early on that those requests automatically go to the top of the pile. So if I've got, if I've got six Daniel Silva books sitting there that I need to read one day, they're going to keep falling underneath all those folks that want help because it's a blessing to be able to do that. So I won't even go through all these. This is what I'm working on, and working on is a very loose terminology. That's what's on my nightstand. So I have, and they're all over the board. Dissolving Illusions is about vaccines, and some people go crazy about a book like that. Fingerprints of the Gods is Graham Hancock. Kenny Chesney. So my son got me this for my birthday. I love you, Bruce. I'm not necessarily a big Kenny Chesney fan, but it's a signed book, and he goes, "I know you love books, so I wanted to get you a book." So that meant a lot to me. A Case for Christ, Lee Strobel. So Charles, you probably are familiar with that.
Oh, I've read and listened to that book probably 5 times.
I'm looking forward to it. I've started it, but I'm looking forward to getting through all the way through. Psychology of Money, because I've screwed up a lot of money over the last like 49 years of life, and I need to get a little better at it. And then A People's History of the United States. I originally heard about that book watching Good Will Hunting, and then
Mhm.
for whatever this year I kept getting all these ads for it. So I finally bought it. It's very it's deep, and I'm like, I don't know, 4 or 5 chapters into it. Um the concept behind it I like though, because as we all know, we're readers, we're writers. History is always written by the victors. It's not written by the loser that fell down and died. It's by, the guy that stabbed him. So I think there's a lot of times, especially in the US history, that what we're taught in our books and our history books, US history, in high school and junior high and all that, we get a sliver of what actually occurred. So even just some of the stories I read in the first several chapters, I'm like, man, I'm a history guy. I have never heard of that before. Um, so I think I'm in this weird spot in life where I know core what I believe, but there's a lot of questions I have about lots of stuff. And so I'm in this mode of like, I want to learn more and I want to figure out more what whether it comes to politics and that. I'm so jaded with all that. It's like, okay, how does the system actually work? I think I know how it works. And I think also that helps from a writing perspective. That the more you can figure out, the more you can then embed in your own books. Um, and the other things I wanted to promote real quick too, because those are all just completely nonfiction books. No, no fiction going on. So I do have one fiction book, which Terrence Leahu, such a great guy, and what I like about his stories is they're really crisp. They're you can get through them quick, and it's just like these swashbuckling adventures that I don't have to. I'm not reading a thriller story, so I'm not microanalyzing it and going, I'd give the guy a rear naked chokehold there, and I'd make him tap out. Or I'd double tap this guy. You don't have to deal with that. So I really enjoy that. And then this isn't fiction, but I wanted to say something about it too, is Chris Albanese. So years ago, I used to do podcasts with Chris, the Crew Reviews guys. And he has come out with just this fall these two here, Everyday Saints and Everyday Graces. So I went to Spain back in September and I said, well, I'll have time to read. So I brought a couple books with me and was only wearing a backpack. Like this was almost like college level, like just throw it on your back and that's what you have for 5 days or 4 days in this country. So I had to have a real thin book. So I had a couple digital books and I had this with me. The cool thing was though, is I'd pull it out in a restaurant and I'd start reading it, and multiple times I had people saying, "Hey, what are you reading?" So it gave me an opportunity to say, "Oh, hey, take a picture of this. This is one of my friends in the United States." And very much faith-based stories. Chris has really redeveloped his faith, or refound his faith in this last year or two. So, yeah, kudos to Chris. And he'll be coming on the podcast in 2026 to talk about it some more. So
Great.
those are that's my reading this year. And I'll get back to reading thrillers eventually.
Well, they say that when men hit their 40s, they're supposed to choose between like World War II history and barbecue. And it seems like you
Yeah.
kind of went both directions. You got history, and then I see all the Blackstone
The
pictures you
Blackstone
post.
Grill.
So
Yeah.
you just
I'm,
couldn't decide, so you combined.
I'm looking at smokers for Christmas. So my
And
gas
more
grill
history book.
My
Yeah.
gas grill kind of gave up the ghost last month. It still works, but it's just one of the burners started getting rusty and wouldn't
Uh-huh.
fire up all the time. And
Well,
so
I'm noticing nobody disputed that fact from this room
No.
either. Everyone just
Oh,
kind
I'd
of went,
totally get rid
yeah,
of it too. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
my boys
The,
are with
the,
me here. You gotta,
I'll
you gotta eat.
dispute it. I'll dispute it in this way is I don't know many who actually make a choice between the two. We tend to go for both.
That is true.
I mean,
That
I
is
have a
true.
wall of World War II and war history books
Amen.
in the front room. Yeah,
Amen.
and a barbecue and a grill that gets a lot of use.
Absolutely. Um, what was next? What were we gonna talk? Oh, we'll stay in the entertainment realm.
Bad.
So Amy, did you get your chance?
Oh,
I didn't skip you, did I? No, we got you first. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Want to make sure I'm not being stingy here with giving people their turns. Um, so doesn't have to be movies, could be streaming, because I think the movie industry some days looks like it's almost dead, and then it revives with, Top Gun Maverick pulled it back out of the brim, and this year kind of went back down of like, is it really not that great movies? But streaming obviously has been, kind of a big deal now for multiple years. So Let's go through and what shows have kind of tickled your fancy this year. And we can go in the
Uh,
same order.
I was like, I could definitely go off about the industry now since, I just finished film school.
Resident expert here,
This is my
yes.
bailiwick now. So, but truthfully, when it comes to TV shows, I have some old favorites that I stick with, but in this case, I'm going to select something that's a little self-serving. Bear with me. And that's going to be the newest addition to the 911 franchise. So 911 Nashville. Not usually my thing. It's a little bit more melodramatic than I tend to. However, it is being filmed in my backyard. I have been on set. I have had, the privilege of actually making it in the cuts on one of the screens. And I really need this show to succeed because I plan on getting to that writer's room. So everybody needs to watch 911 Nashville so it sticks around so that way I can start writing for the show. So
That
I'm gonna
ambulance driver was really good. I tell you what, I was like
so
star
it,
power right there.
it's been great having them here, especially being in the film world now. I've been able to be on set for a big outdoor scene, for a more intimate outdoor scene through some crazy weather, and they
Mhm.
did practical effects. So if you've watched the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. I got very wet. Um, and then, having scenes, shots that were done on a stage. And so it really is like this perfect educational thing for me to follow on with film school. And
Yeah.
it's just going to make me a better screenwriter. So everybody watch it so it will stay for multiple seasons so that way I can work on the show.
Eh, Well, in that way, we'll know someone in a screenwriting room that we can be like, "Hey, buddy, I got a novel that needs to be adapted."
And you know what? And I've discovered I have a knack for adaptations because I have
That's
two
awesome.
scripts making the rounds right now. One of us is an adaptation. Of course,
Good for
it's
you.
a Sherlock Holmes adaptation because,
It's
well,
okay.
Arthur Conan Doyle. But hey,
That's a whole new world I don't know anything about, and
Yeah.
good for you for branching out into it. It's very commendable.
What about movies, real quick? Because I think we'll just group those together. Was there any movie that kind of stood out to you this year, or did you
I,
not even watch
you
many?
know what? I've got to go with the one I saw most recently just because it was that good and everybody liked it. But Zootopia 2 is like they crushed it. They really did. They crushed it. And I know it's animation, but the writers crushed it. And if you've seen the movie, you'll understand because the dialogue, the jokes, they're so clever. It's so crisp and it is beautifully done.
My daughter saw it with her mom this past weekend, so we might go see it this coming chance when I have her. She said it was really good. Yeah,
It is one of those, it's a cartoon, but it's one of those things that adults absolutely can enjoy it.
yeah. Mr. Darling. That sounds weird, Mr. Darling. I don't know, something about that. That's
Uh,
something. We,
um,
we got to change your last name or something.
well, let's see. Um, I've had it for about 55 years. It's sort of grown on me, so we'll see.
You
Um,
you can write it out. You can actually spell it. You're like, I can't switch it up.
yeah, my
What in the
hands know what
world?
to do now. I'm like you. My time is limited, but one thing I enjoyed early last year, and I don't want to forget it because season three I think is coming out. Reacher,
Hmm.
um, but with Alan
Richmond.
Ridgman.
Alan Richson, he is
Richmond, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
that just puts the heat back into the Reacher series.
Hmm.
Not saying Tom Cruise didn't do a good job, but he didn't really look 6'5" and
Yeah.
size 16 shoes. So yeah, so I really enjoyed that, and I'm with my wife, and my wife liked the story, I believe, for different reasons than I did. But so well done, so well
Yeah.
done. And
Yes.
for the movies, I don't even know if I've seen a movie this year. I really I'd be very hard pressed to tell you.
Yeah. That's okay.
Sorry. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Just
Like
write another
probably
book. You'll be fine.
2 in the morning. I'll give you a call. Yeah, yeah. We'll see. But that's about it. I do have a new job, so I'm more managerial type situation. So I'm working my full 8 hours, and it's kind of 2 hours commute on either end.
Oh,
And
wow.
last I barely squeak in time to write, let
Hmm.
alone watch a movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Prioritize.
happens. It happens.
Definitely does. So, Charles, what do you got for us?
Yeah, boy, like you guys, it's been a weird couple of years with media entertainment, but I'd say for TV, we watch so much football.
Hmm.
It's that's what we do. But two shows stand out. One is we've recently started rewatching Stranger Things again from the beginning, and
Hmm.
it's been, many years since we saw the first season. And boy, we are loving it. I mean, just seeing everything coming together, love it. And then there's a British television show called Unforgotten that is about cold cases,
Hmm.
and it's a typically a female lead, like DCI, and then there's this I think he's Indian, Pakistani maybe, who's like kind of the main character, who's a detective, and boy, they do some epic cold cases. These are the season long stories,
Hmm.
the big story arc. So say 6 to 8 hours of one story, and it's like flashbacks. And if you want a really good mystery show, Unforgotten, on it's you can get it on like PBS or something like that. And
Nice.
then for movies, same for us. It was hard. I debated with my son and my wife last night. I'm like, what did we watch? Did we like anything? And what we came down to is that's kind of a cheesy answer, but we really enjoyed it, which was the Formula One movie, F1. We're
Don't
we're big
steal
F.
my answer, Charles.
Ah, dang it. We love Formula One. We're massive Formula One fans. Like every Sunday, the whole thing. And the movie, it was not perfect, but it was certainly entertaining and exciting, and
Mhm.
we really enjoyed that.
Nice. Dave, what you got for us?
Well, my favorite film of 2025 is an Australian horror picture called Dangerous Animals.
Hmm.
It's really, really good. So
Okay.
it's about a shark tour guide in Australia that actually moonlights as a serial killer, and he uses the ocean predators as his weapons.
You got Ama already. With the word serial killer, not that she's ever killed anybody, but she likes those serial killers. So,
Jay Courtney is in it, and its performance is great. Every one of his monologues is like a highlight reel.
hmm.
He's just outstanding. But the third act, it just builds into a great audience pleasing. It'll bring down the roof kind of reaction. It's really, really good.
Hmm.
Nice.
Loved it. Yeah. And then my favorite streaming show is Paradise. Boy, that's just a brilliant show.
That's a really good show. Yes.
Yeah. The first episode is just a knockout twist, but the great thing about Paradise is the entire show keeps up that quality of writing and
Yeah,
acting. It's just amazing.
you're right. I didn't have that on my list, but I should because I binged it sometime this summer when I wasn't writing. And I binged it in like 2 nights, I think. I went through all the seasons.
It's just
Yeah.
fabulous.
And the second season's coming out, I think, starting in February, maybe
Yeah, right, February.
2026. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Do you have anything else? I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's good. I loved F1 too. My favorite score of the year, Hans Zimmer's score for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll start with movies. F1 was, I wrote down two actually, but F1 was one. I also do watch the Netflix series. That's one of my streaming series that I watch, and I really enjoy the way they handle that. And I thought the movie was not my favorite movie, but it was one of the best movies I had seen in the theater in a very long time. Just
Yeah.
from beginning to end, it pulled me in and I enjoyed it. The other one that I really liked, which, blame Ama for this one, is I like Ballerina, which was, the female John Wick. Um, I thought she did a great job with it. Again, definitely some parts of it you're kind of like, but that's a Wick movie,
Different director too. So
right, exactly. But I thought it was really well done. It didn't do as well as I would have hoped. I probably won't see her again, but yeah, I thought she did a great job with it. I love John Wick being in it. I thought, pulling him in. I didn't necessarily like how they did, or I didn't agree with it from a creative standpoint, but to have him in there was rewarding. So I really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, TV wise, I go in these spells where I'll find a new one, but if I don't stick to them. So, Dave, I think you mentioned this maybe last year's Tulsa Kings.
Yes.
So, I watched season one earlier in the year, and then I took a long break. So I just started up season two. So what I typically do is nights I have my daughter or have my kids, we'll watch a little something. We might watch like a sitcom show or whatever. Seinfeld is that I've got my kids into Seinfeld, which good and bad with that. But they're like the few kids that are like this generation that know who Jerry Seinfeld and Kramer and everything is. So I think I get good kudos as a parent for that personally. We started watching Young Sheldon the last couple months, which I hadn't really ever watched that before. That's actually kind of entertaining, thought provoking, and it's kind of clever the way it's done. But nights I don't have them. I don't just like to sit at the kitchen table and stare at a wall. So I'll watch something with dinner. That's like my entertainment. So what I'll do is like once a week, I'll probably go to like whatever, like if it's F1 season, I'll watch one episode a week. So it kind of drags out. So I'm not watching 5 nights, out of in a row where I'm binging the whole series in a week. So definitely earlier in the year was F1. I did Full Swing for the golf stuff. Another show I probably talked about it last year too, which I think they're doing the third season, but the second season just came out this fall, was The Diplomat with Kerry Russell. Um, or maybe it was the third season just came out and they're doing a fourth. That's what it is. I don't know. I think maybe the British side of it, there's that part of me that really loves the travel aspect, and I've been to a bunch of the places where they filmed. I really enjoy that show. So that one, I think I'm in like episode 3, and so it'll drag on now for another month or so as I finish that one up. But yeah, that's kind of my just the way I end up working it is okay. That's kind of my way to unwind, have dinner by myself, watch a little something, and then I turn that off, and then that's it. That's television. Whatever show I ended up watching, whether it was a Tulsa King or whether it was a Diplomat. There was something else too. Oh, I started Dark Wolf the other night. I only did one episode, and so I'll watch the second episode probably next week or the week after. That first 5 minutes, I even texted Jack. I was like, dude, that was the way to open the show. So I thought that had a really, I hope it continues on. Really strong start for a show. So Dark Wolf's one that at least after one episode, I could say I'm definitely digging that. So, but yeah, but TV is the antithesis to trying to get writing done. So it's something that I try personally to be like, okay, you get your little break during dinner, and then like on a Friday or Saturday night, or with my kids, when I get done writing, I might pull like a 2 or 3 a.m. night. So I might watch then a movie like it thrown on at midnight or 1 o'clock. And then I'll have time to fall asleep, on the couch at like 4 in the morning, be like, "Whoa, this is like a David Darling waking up, and I don't need water and Advil." It's like this is great. So
Great. Nobody else knows the story that I told you before we recorded. I,
well, folks, you need to hack in and listen to the beginning stuff so you can know
oh
exactly what
my,
all these inside jokes are about. So
yeah, very true. Very true.
we'll leave it to their imagination. So,
Oh.
um, okay, let's pivot. And anyone had a good trip this year? Have you gone somewhere new? Have you done something fun that you want to share with? And if so, what you been up to, ma'am?
It's been a crazy year. So I guess I was in my first independent film. So that started in January. Went to Iowa for that. Drove through the ice storm that was in January of this year that, wiped out like half the country. Um, see, went to Richmond for GalaxyCon, had a blast there. Took the whole family to Disney. So we did 4 parks in 4 days, and we did not kill each other. It was awesome. Um, and BoucherCon was in New Orleans this year, so how could I not go? Uh, that was a blast. And then yeah, I went out to LA and graduated from film school. So it's
Shoot.
it's been a fun year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. David, you're driving 2 hours for work each way. That might be your trip
Oh.
story, but hopefully it gets better. What have you done?
Um, I did not make a writing conference this year, first time in a while.
Mhm.
I've been busy with work and moving around. So when you get moved around to different parts of the corporation, some holidays are gonna get shifted. So, but I did manage to squeak out some time. I went camping with my daughter and I had a great time with that. And went up to a friend's place in northern Ontario for some summer Scottish Highland games, and we had a really good weekend that I can't really talk about. But yeah, so
That you
a
can't
a lot of good.
remember.
Yeah, there was some hazy times there, but it was some really good times catching up or just sitting around the bonfire talking with everybody again and seeing everybody because time seems to be slipping by some days and you don't see
Yeah,
your friends as much as you used to in your 20s and
right.
So you got to really enjoy those moments
Yep. Enjoy the journey. It's a quick journey, so enjoy it. Absolutely.
for sure.
Yes, sir. Charles, what you been up to besides hanging out in that biggest little city in the United States?
Yeah, this has been a crazy year for us. Just life has been very complicated. So no traveling. I'm trying to think if we even made it up to Lake Tahoe this year. A lot of years we go at least go kayaking or go on
Mhm.
one vacation, but not a single trip this year. It's crazy. So,
Mhm.
um, and I'm not sure anything will happen next year with how things are shaping up for what we have on deck for next year. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we had before. I don't remember if this question came up last year or not, but um, my son graduated from high school in last fall, so we did a Pacific Coast Highway trip. We bombed down to San Diego,
Hmm.
and we drove north and did a ton of stuff. I mean, we did so many things. We were exhausted. 8 days of road tripping and hotels and Airbnbs and theme parks and everything you could imagine.
Yeah.
Some of those beautiful stuff. So that was the last trip that we did, and it still lingers as amazing.
It's all good. Mr. Dave, what you got for us?
We did a couple of beach trips, day trips, really. We haven't done any big trips this past year. We're hoping to get some more done in 2026, maybe
Yeah,
with some events kind of intertwined with that. But
absolutely.
I'm
Well,
housebound this year.
Yeah. How far are you guys from the ocean? You're pretty close.
Well, we are 45 minutes.
okay.
45. Nice.
Yeah, it's not from Lincoln City, so it's not that bad. An hour from the from Mount Hood, and so it's a great where I'm at in Kaiser here. It's really centrally located. All the
Mhm.
good
Are
activities.
you
So,
far from like Tillamook?
yeah, we're about that'd be maybe 50 miles from us.
Okay, not too far.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been up the coast. When whew, what year was that? 2004. I lived in Seattle and we went down to Redwood National Park for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So we kind of made our way through Oregon to go down, and then on the way back up, we did the coast up and went all the way up through Tillamook and Astoria, and the Oregon coast was it was nice. It was very
Tillamook is hard to pronounce. I'm impressed.
yeah.
You can always tell who's not an Oregonian when they say Tillamook.
Well,
People always had the mook.
Yeah.
I got to butcher the English language, as much as
No,
I
you
can.
did good.
So
You're flawless.
now you don't hear me speak enough, obviously. So, yeah, so mine was good. I always feel like if I talk about my trips, I always don't want it to come across as bragging, and then I also don't want to feel like I'm ungrateful because I could probably spend a week of every month traveling somewhere and never get sick of that. So that bug is just in me that I cannot. But when I go, I really do enjoy it and I really appreciate the opportunities sincerely. Our big one this year was my son graduated. Um, just like Charles, my son graduated this year. He graduated in May. And I told him earlier in the year, I'm like, hey, I'll take you anywhere in the world. I can't take you to Antarctica or up Everest. I can't do these $80,000 trips, but I'll take you to Europe. I'll take you to Africa. I'll take you to Tokyo. I'll make it work somehow. And I was hoping that exciting travel part of me is pushed into him, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, dude, let's go to Scotland or let's go to Dubai and skydive." And he goes, "I want to go to Yellowstone." And I've actually never been. I've been 44 states, probably a dozen to 20 national parks. I had never been to Yellowstone. So I respected that wish and said, okay, let's make it happen. So my mom ended up coming down, and I took mom and the two kids, and we went out to stay. We stayed in Montana, just outside the park, right there in Gardner, Montana. And we went in every day, and it's it's one of those special places is all I can say. It's I was complaining a little bit internally the first couple days because I didn't see a lot of animals. And I was like, this is Yellowstone. I should be getting like overrun every day by a bison. They should be just trampling me and I should be dead. I paid extra for the insurance on the rental car because I figured one of those suckers is going to run into me because I'll be chasing it down. So we're having dinner one night and I'm talking to the waitress, really nice lady. She worked for the park service and waitressed part-time. And she's like, well, what have you seen? What have you done? And I'm like, I'm a little disappointed in the animals. And she said, so you haven't been to the Lamar Valley yet? And I was like, no, we're gonna do that tomorrow. She goes, come see me tomorrow night. So we did a stagecoach ride that morning, and then the stagecoach meets the Roosevelt Hotel, which is right out on the way to go to the Lamar Valley. And then we drove out in the valley, and all of a sudden, I literally had on my phone a tick like of how many bison I saw up to that point, and I just put 1,000 after that. Because as far as you looked, there was just these herds everywhere. And yeah, they were in the road. I had them walking by me. They didn't scratch up the rental car. We saw three bears going on one of the trails we went hiking on, like literally a mom and two cubs, like 10 feet in front of us, 15 feet in front of us. A little scary, but pretty exciting. Saw a grizzly the next day. So we got our fill of it. There was elk where we were staying in Montana a lot, so we saw a lot of elk in Gardner. Um, but yeah, it was just those trips when I get those opportunities, especially with the kids. My parents were wonderful parents, but we didn't do a lot of like exciting travel. We did a lot of East Coast stuff, but nothing like, we went out west and did something. So I've done all that as a teenager. Like I went to Europe in college, paid for it myself. I've done all that travel on my own, and I want to try to instill as much of that in my kids and give those opportunities when it works. So Yellowstone was pretty cool to be able to do it with them. And then I needed to get out of the country. I made a deal with myself, like you got to get out of the country every year. So like in July, I found like I paid more for a hotel than I paid for a flight. I flew to Barcelona for 4 days, and I planned out part of Downfall, my book coming out next year. I got the scenarios all worked out of where it happens, and I worked all the details, and I walked this little town, figuring out how I wanted to do bad stuff without looking too devious to the people. So I had a great trip. So that was fun. And then my brother got married end of October. We went out to Arizona. That was like literally fly out on 1 o'clock on a Friday and catch literally a 5 a.m. flight on Sunday. So we were probably in the state for like 36 hours, maybe. So that was a fun little jaunt out to see my brother and support him. Um, and then next year is a couple big ones coming. So I got some big trips planned for next year. I turned 50. In November. So, doing a New Zealand and Australia trip with some friends next September is the plan, unless something
Very cool.
interferes with it. But I already told
Wow.
my boss you can either give me 2 weeks off or it's my last day. I'll tell you my last day, and I'm rolling the dice. I'm thinking, me and Charles are going to come up with a way to market these books so I can, I can just live in that chalet with David Darling on my free time. So, sorry, David, new roommate.
It happens, man. Yeah.
It does
By the way, I wish I had the answers for marketing as well. It's just
No one has the answers. No one has the answers.
everything I did in 2024 did not really work in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't we
True.
already establish you need a bunch of monkeys in a room to throw things?
Yes.
That's where you guys are going wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently, yes.
My 2025 monkey's been throwing poop though. And I tell
Oh,
you what, that doesn't work very well. That's a short-term fix for anything. So.
no, that's just bananas.
No. Yeah, that's the one. For all my fellow authors that we talk marketing with, man, I wish I had figured it out and I would gladly share it, but none of us have. I think some people figure out a little bit more or not scheme, but their marketing approach works. And then I swear the next person does almost identical to it and it doesn't work. And it's like, I think they've screwed with the algorithm. There's a lot of stuff that I think's going on that it's just, you have to accept that it's out of your control. So what
Yeah.
can you do as an
And,
author? Write a
and
really good book.
write a really good book, but also those that wrote books and were publishing, say 12, 15 years ago or something and had established some things, really had a different market to promote in. And what
Yes.
we have now with the just excess of authors and
Mhm.
all the algorithms, you can't even do anything for yourself anymore. You have to, we're all dependent upon the infamous algorithms.
Yep.
So it's crazy. Sometimes I look and I talk to somebody who's been an author for a while. They got like 20 books out and they've been published for, say 15 years or something, and it's not even the same at all of what
Yep.
they had back then.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've had the same. I've talked to a lot of the guests I've had on this year, and I've kind of if you dwell on it, it's negative. You're like,
Yeah.
oh man, how do you ever get over this?
Yeah.
But again, it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier when we were talking, is I keep myself remind what I say to my kids. It's like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. you know? When Ama Adair gets in that room with, I don't know who's still directing movies nowadays. I don't know. Whatever. With Jack Carr's showrunner, when she gets to know
With Dave
him,
DiGilio, that'd be awesome.
yeah. So uh, I've told this story to a few people. I don't know if I ever said it on the podcast. I was texting Jack. This was years ago, several years back. I was texting Jack. He was on the set, and so I sent him a message for, "Hey, tell Pratt this." And I didn't get a response for a little bit. And a little bit later, I get a response that's like, "Oh yeah, he was just here. He's gone," or something like that. I'm like, ah, darn it,
Oh my God.
my in isn't going in. What in the world? Of course not. So no, but all joking aside, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you've got to just keep on attempting. Keep throwing. Don't be like the monkeys. Don't throw poop at the wall. That gets messy and you have to clean it later. But keep throwing darts at that wall because one of those darts might actually hit the bullseye and you don't know which dart it's going to be. You might think you know which dart it's going to be, but you really don't know what dart it's going to be. So,
Very true.
keep at it. So in that vein, our final wrap up, each person go through what's going on in 2026 and like, do you have something coming out here soon that you need to tell us about? Hint, hint, Mr. Darley, what's going on? So, but we're still staying ladies first here.
So you give the teaser about David, and then, man.
I'm gonna wait. He's
I'm
gonna
still
wait till
going
the end.
last.
He's
I'm
the
laughing
last
at
one
it.
now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, to get to David as quickly as possible, 2026 is going to be very interesting for me because I will be taking on some production classes and I will actually be producing and filming my own short film. I've written it
Oh,
and I will be putting it all together this year and it's going to go into some
extra,
film
extra,
festivals.
extra. Come on.
Say, hey, I will write you a role in one of these films. This one probably don't have anything in it for you, but I will be putting out my own short film this year.
That's the
And
serial killer one where I have to lay on the ground with all this blood all over me and she stabbed me. That's what
don't
I'll
give it
do.
away, man.
Sorry.
So I will be delving more into that as well. But as I have been promising for a while, L. Anderson 5 is coming out in 2026. I guess I should probably come up with a title for it. So that's to follow as well. But I will be finishing that. I have some more scripts and I have things all in contests and I have fellowships coming up. So it's going to be a busy year.
Nice. Number 5 is not a bad title, actually.
Yeah,
So that might
hey,
actually work.
L5. There we
You
go.
never know. 11 worked for Stranger Things,
That's
so
true.
you never know what number might work. So let's switch it up a little bit. And Dave, too, you can go because we're going to leave Darling he's going to be our send out because, he's doing something that we need to talk about. So,
All right, my third novel will be out on November 19th, 2026, and it's called Suspension. And it's kind of an ode to my favorite subgenre of action pictures, which is the Die Hard end. So like Cliffhanger, Die Hard on a Mountain, and Cliffhanger, Speed and Under Siege. So this one, Die Hard on a Bridge. And so Suspension takes place in 1988 in Gold Beach, Oregon. So I've just got a lot of outrageous action and fun. And unlike my other two novels, this is monster free. So the monsters are all men this time.
that's true. That's actually a very true statement normally. So,
Yeah.
this will come out right before Christmas. So between now filming and Christmas, though, you've got something coming out. So put that out there.
Yeah. Thank you. My second novel, In the Wrath of Legends, comes out on the 18th of December. So next week. So I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping readers enjoy it as much as they did the first book.
They will. That's one of the handful of novels that I actually did read this year. So I loved your first book, and I think you got better with number 2. So
Thank you.
no sophomore slump. So very very proud of you sticking with it and what you crafted. I think was really well done.
And I do appreciate you came in the last minute to help me by reading it because I had missed my deadline. I didn't have really many people to reach out to, and you're real nice. Especially at that time it was still in the layer of typos, and you understood that. I was still finishing up the final drafts and so on. So thank
I'm
you for.
editing a typo issue every night right now, so I feel you. Don't worry.
Well, I do appreciate it. It was very nice, and you're a good friend, a good person.
Glad
So
to
thank you
support you.
very much.
Glad to support all 4 of you. But yeah, I'm definitely there for you. So
Thank you.
Charles, I
Yeah.
like you. What do you got going on? What's up in 2026? So
Well, there'll be a few text messages with Eric Bishop, I think. That's on the agenda.
before the end
Uh,
of the night. So
yeah, that's right. So I am also turning 50 years old in 2026. So
old men rule.
Hey.
old man rule. Yeah, my back is reminding me daily that um on top of turning 50, my daughter's getting married. So that's a
I didn't get a
big
text
deal.
about this.
I know.
Congratulations.
I know. You gotta fly out. Yes, thank you.
I might. Give me
It's
the dates. I might. You never know.
yeah, May 3rd. I think it's May 30th. I always get the actual number wrong. But so we've got that at the end of May. And then it's also my 25th wedding anniversary. So it's just such a it's a very sentimental year for us in our household. But on the writing front, I've got Hank Lynn Mystery number 3 will be published sometime probably late spring, as fast as I can do it.
Hmm.
And then my next space warfare group novel will come out. I'm predicting right now it'll probably be like a December kind of thing. So I'm gonna do my darndest to publish 2 full-size books and maybe a novella in
Okay.
between this in 2026. Yes.
Very cool.
I my mission is volume to overload the algorithms so that more people buy my books.
We're gonna figure this thing out between now and then, and we're gonna be hanging out with David in his
We're
chalet.
flying to the chalet.
He's flying us out to the chalet. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
that's
He's
right. I
Mr.
forgot.
Money there. What in the world?
Sure,
So, um,
sure.
darling, you're waiting. You're waiting another minute because you're the end of this. So I'm gonna speak. So I know
Oh,
that's not shocking. Um, Yeah, so I've got 2 coming out for 2026. Drexel, which is book 3 in the Omega Group series. It's actually a backstory. When I wrote my first book, which never got published, Vengeance, it was about Troy and the Omega Group. I realized Troy had to have a reason to be on this vengeance
Mm.
road that he was found himself on. Well, it was a totally different name at the time, but that was what became Drexel. Takes place after the events of 9/11. He planned on following in his father's footsteps and joining the FBI as soon as he graduated from college in Boise, Idaho, and he was going to surpass his dad, maybe be the director one day, who knows? But he was gonna be the man. And then the events take place in Drexel that completely changed his life and put him on a different path. So that's first one out. And then I was writing last night, I'll be writing tonight. I'm working on Downfall, which is book 4 in the Body Man series. So for anyone that read Supreme Justice, there was these open-ended issues that Ama pointed out to me that like, hey, dude, what are you doing here? So I had to have an author's note at the end to be like, hey, I'm not crazy. I'm gonna tell you what happened at some point here. So Supreme Justice is happening at the same time as Downfall. So I hint at Downfall in multiple chapters through Supreme Justice. Now you'll actually find out what I was hinting at, and Mercy will show up a little bit, but she won't. It'll just be hinted at that the body man's kind of busy dealing with her as well. But mainly all the former body men are being targeted, and some bodies are washing up. So they got to figure out what in the world's happening and why is that role being so heavily attacked. So I'm having fun writing it. It's a way of keeping me on my toes every night. So,
Very cool.
but
It's a good thing you had that author's note. Otherwise, I would have driven to North Carolina to strangle you.
well, I mean, you are a serial killer, so I wouldn't be
Ah,
shocked. So, oh, but so here's our drum roll. So the
Hey,
big news.
Charles's background.
oh, I love it.
I
I,
like that.
He
I,
could be my neighbor.
I am your neighbor. You just didn't know it.
It's only fitting, we steal a little bit of David's thunder with the new background from
Yeah,
Charles.
I'm in I'm in Canada now. Hey,
You got
What
the
a
lingo
hoser.
down.
You hoser. Okay.
David Darling, what is your groundbreaking news? What's going on?
Well, a year ago I wrote a military thriller novel, early 2025, and it was good. I main character was Glenn Beckett. He's a recon Marine, and it all starts when he gets out of jail and he goes to get the guys that framed him for putting in there, and then he uncovers a government plot, and it goes on. It is brilliant. I think it's some of the best writing I ever did. And I didn't self-publish it. I polished it up as best I could, and I submitted it to an agent. and I got my agent, Jessica Berg, with Rosecliff Literary Agency, and I thought it was great. However, Jessica's also a developmental editor. So after Jessica went through it, I ended up doing a rewrite. I took away about 25,000 words and I added 30.
Wow.
So, and I did that in 7 weeks. Um, I created scenes. I took a page out of Kyle Mills's book.
Mhm.
Or Kyle Mills, what he does. I took out the fluff and I made characters stronger and I filled a few plot holes that may or may not have snuck through. Anyway, so she loved it enough that she put it out on submission, and with no more further rewrites, we were done. And there was a couple declines. However, I've been working since it has to be early October with one publisher, and it just finished their legal department, and I'm signing with Blackstone Publishing. So it's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Congratulations!
What
So
a
thank you so
Yes.
much.
great publisher too.
So
Wow.
I am so stoked. I can't believe it. And it's a two-book deal.
Mm.
So as you mentioned earlier, you got your whole life to write the first book, but you might only have 12 months to finish the second. So that's where I'm
Mm.
at right now. I'm a quarter of the way into the second book, and I'm trying to put all my own side projects off into the distance. And
Mhm.
but I accidentally read Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Oh,
Matt Dinneman's book, and man, it kind of there's a whole lit RPG genre out there. So anyway, I might have accidentally started another book. So anyway, but that's not the point. So, yeah. So this is the direction I'm going, and I believe what's going to happen is I'm going to be a hybrid publish or hybrid author. Sorry,
Mhm.
and I'll have a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipe for with Blackstone and publishing, and I just can't believe it already. It is just so exciting. So, yeah.
that's awesome. David, make sure you send us stuff as it comes out so we can help promote that and
Oh,
post it and yeah.
I will do the same for you guys, believe it or not. I'm here for you as well. As Eric has constantly pointed out over the years, authors helping other authors does not diminish your book or product in any way. It only strengthens you because we are a community. So, for all that, I thank you for your praise and kind thoughts. It's great. So, deeply appreciate it.
Well,
Couldn't have
David, you're
happened to a better guy, man.
yeah,
Keep
Thank you. Thank
crushing
you.
it.
you're an inspiration because again, there's no wrong way to move forward with your dreams. Um, I've struggled with that over the years. Do I get an agent? Do I go traditional? Do I self-publish? For years, we've had those conversations over the years. I
Oh,
know since I've met
many.
you. Um, and there's no wrong way to do it, but you're a shining example of someone that decides, hey, I've had enough rejection. I know I'm writing good stuff. I'm going to put it out and I'm going to start creating this brand on my own. And that doesn't mean that's the rest of your life. Okay, you're just going to be a self-published author. No, you still have the opportunities to go traditional. And there's no reason why you can't go traditional and be successful traditional. So that's the beauty of it. And I think you're a good, I know there's a bunch of people that have done it. Andrews and Wilson, who you talked about. Years ago, I knew Brian better than Jeff, or talked to Brian more than Jeff.
Right.
But Brian years ago had told me when I was, just one door after another get closed, he goes, "Oh, just self-publish." And because that's how they started. That's how Brian and Jeff found each other. They had put out a bunch of books on their own, and they came together as a team, and they did something that few people, it maybe no other people have really done in the modern, thriller world is they've started doing books together and you can't tell who wrote what chapter. They have talked about in the past. They can't always remember. Wait, did I write that paragraph? Because they
Yeah.
they work so well as a team. But yeah, thank you for inspiring us, David. I think the four of us, we got your back and can't wait to help promote the book when it comes out as soon as you release that date.
And read it too.
Those are two separate things, and I really appreciate that, Charles. That's
Yes,
awesome.
I'll
I
read
will.
the first chapter and the last chapter for
Yeah.
sure. For
I
sure.
want
Get
to.
those two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
As the dates and when all this is happening, I would really be hard pressed to imagine it coming out in 2026. So it has to go through their gauntlet
Yeah.
and approval and all that. And I'm sure, well, book two, I already know it has to go through a legal lawyers because of the premise
Yeah.
and everything I'm doing with it. So it's but you know how you wanted to write that book you've always wanted? Well, I'm doing that now, but with book two in the Glenn Beckett series. So it's just, I'm so pumped. I'm
That's
stoked. I'm
awesome.
really enjoying it. So
It gives people hope. That's what
oh,
it should do. So
love it.
well, thank you all for your time. I can't believe it's been a year since we did this, and the way life is passing by, we might be doing this again in another year, and it won't seem like a year has passed, but we'll save the date and we'll try to do this again next year.
Yeah.
Real tip, round table, real quick. Where can people? We'll start in the same order we've been talking the last few questions. Where can people go to find your stuff? And again, tell them one more time what's the newest thing there that they can grab.
All right, so you can find everything about me on amadair.com. All my socials are there, all the books are there. The latest one is the short story in the anthology, Fighting Words, which was edited by Scott Blackburn, which is awesome. And
Great guy.
Origin Story was the last book that I wrote. It was my novella, and it is also on there.
Nice, Dave.
Well, the last one I got published by myself is called The Egyptian Enigma. If you like an action adventure novel, that's been out there for a year now, and hope to have something new and exciting coming out soon. As to where you can find me, David Darling Books, you can just Google. I'm everywhere. So it's all good.
Charles.
Thank you.
CharlesHack.com, Instagram, Charles Hack Books, which is where I spend a lot of time. And you can get yourself, oh, I forgot. I'm like David now. You can get Deliver Us from Evil, Hank Lynn Book 2.
Dave too, where can we find you?
Well, you can pre-order In the Wrath of Legends from Black Rose Writing at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, PAL Books, or you can go to my website, davidbzan.com, and it's got all the links there.
Very cool.
Thank you all for coming on. It means a lot to talk to you guys and have the connections we have, and we have a great community. So definitely very blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very
Yeah.
blessed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Always a privilege.
Yeah.
And
Gents.
everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. All right.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.